Well then, it is time for another round in the Realistic Formula Championship. 5 rounds to go in Season 6, and we're racing around the chaotic streets of Baku, Azerbaijan, a 20-turn circuit known to provoke many safety cars, as we already saw yesterday. And well, let's see how the drivers will handle these. This was yesterday. Crash at the castle section, as you'd expect there. Elias in the barriers, and then later on, in that safety car, just as they were going back to the main straight, Elias de Winter ran into the back of Nino Schneider. So let's see what's going to happen today. Those are the compounds, C5, C4, C3. Not quite the softest, but they are quite soft tyres. And well, let's get into the game. I mean, I'm not prepared at all, but because some of the names might be wrong. That's what I'm going to say. Right, we're here, and yeah, the stuff is not as prepared as I would like. Some of the names also need to be fixed, but it's fine. We will figure it out soon. Okay. We have names. Right, David, Svat, and Alex. I think I need to fix. So I'll really quickly do that, and then we'll get underway. Yeah, because Alex has got a change in name. And well, we are remarkably, with everything working, despite what has already happened, as I'm sure you might have seen. But anyway. Right, Alex should be fixed. He is. And then it's just David I need to fix as well. Or maybe David. This is his debut race, so stuff to be learned, obviously. And probably what I'm doing is actually making a load of things pop up, but we will get there. David underscores that. Miguel set the quickest time at the moment. David. Ignore what that said for a second. David. David. Okay. That session info is also wrong, I think, because I can't, since things have changed, I haven't been able to actually, some of the assets from some of the overlays have been lost, but okay. I think we're set. Q1 to see who going to be the drivers to make it through. Straight away we see intermediate and wet times. No rain on the forecast at the moment, but anyway, who are we actually watching here? Ben in the Racing Bulls. Let's get his timer up. See what he's doing. Going down to turn 15 now. And he's on the power. It is a purple middle sector. And Ben, who actually got voted driver of the day in the last race, after he picked up, well, he finished 8th, I think, at Monza, from the back of the grid after jumping in at the last minute. Now he's actually in properly this time. And there we go. He's gone to the top of the times. Dropbox in the 7th place. One more thing I need to open. So, right, Andre Tarantino. Who's actually coming around to the last corner? I think this is Ruben Parker. Who? No, wait. Hang on a minute. Oh no, Coyd. Right, Coyd. I looked at the position and then clicked the other one. It doesn't matter because it's actually Coyd first anyway. Rio Harris disconnecting. I'm going to presume that Danny will invite him because I do not want to be lagging everybody out like Igor has done yesterday, and also just making everyone freeze because that is what happens anyway when I try and invite. Give it a few seconds. Okay. Rio has joined back. All good. All good. And now we will see Ruben Parker go into 6th for the Williams. So good first lap from him. And we've not really seen some of those at the bottom intermediate times. Not seen their full banker lap. Seeing any green sectors being displayed by anyone, but after that first run so far, I mean, obviously Red Bull still need to do their lap. Ben in the Racing Bulls quickest. Let's watch Zvat then on his first ever RFC qualifying and barreling down to the first corner. Keeps it out of the barriers, which is always a good start, and into turn 2 uses all of the curb, bounces over on the inside, and then down to turn 3, very much 90-degree corners. The majority of Baku, slightly wide there of the apex potentially. There's a yellow for Evans, I think, just slowing down, or maybe, yeah, I think it is just Evans backing off, or maybe the Williams ahead. It's fat. Oh, bounced off the wall. My feed has disappeared. My screen. Oh. Oh, that was useful. And Svat now down into the castle. Oh, hits the barrier there as well. What is the damage actually on it? I think it might be on sim reduced. I just loaded up a preset and then had to render the intro because I forgot to render it when I was fixing all the overlays. Again, bounced over the curve there, but let's see what the sector time is. Is he going to get into turn 16? And he did lose time to Ben in the middle part of the lap. So the Racing Bulls, clearly with good pace in the middle sector, and also Svat not getting the best there. F1 scenario 7. Couple tenths down in the first sector on Svat, then a couple tenths up in the middle sector. I think he's slightly up overall. We'll see as they cross the line. Svat does gain a bit of time back to the Racing Bulls in the last sector. This is F1 scenario 7, and he does go quickest. So a cleaner lap for him. And then Mills is just on his out lap. Now we'll catch Bryn Evans, who fell down in the championship last time out to 3rd, was in 2nd, but I mean, he's still in with a shout. He's about 47 points behind, I think. And did he just hit the barrier there? He's ghosted as I looked away, and yes, he has got wing damage on his car, but he's just going to finish this lap anyway, because in the way, the wing damage will probably help him down this huge straight, the longest straight on the calendar. And Evans, let's see what kind of top speeds he's going to get. Going to get a bit of a slipstream as well from Rio Harris, who's just starting a lap up front. Championship leader. He then goes to the left-hand side, and he is about he's about 5 tenths off. And Harris now on another lap, I think. And Wilkinson just crossing the line going into 13th. Not great for the Mercedes at the moment. And Harris now getting it into turn 3. They hook it up. And then head down to this kind of very... Got to set this up as a complex of corners, trying to open up turn 6 here. Danny, his teammate, just goes quickest. As Harris towards the castle. where you can lose everything. He doesn't scrape the barrier this time. He keeps it within track limits. On the exit of turn 12. Now it's the run down to 15. Downhill braking zone, where you will dare yourself to brake as late as you can and don't hit the wall like Bryn Evans did. And Harris doesn't. And how is the middle sector? He's improving. Not purple sector to green. His first sector wasn't an improvement at all, so still doing a bit better in the middle sector. Steverix goes into 10th. Harris now on the run to the line. And Harris, let's see what it is for the Ferrari championship leader, into 4th, just over 3/10 off his teammate. So I think Curry here in the Haas is just on his way, but I'm just going to quickly... Okay, well, there should be some commands in the chat again. That's what I'm just checking. I think there are some commands, but anyway. Yeah, I think the damage is on sim reduced. It is on sim reduced. It's just the same as we've had in every other race, but obviously it's not ideal for Baku. I might have changed it, but I didn't. And well, technically the rules are sim reduced, so we may as well stick to that. If you bin it, then just keep it out of the barriers, really. If you keep it out of the barriers in the race, you'll probably do yourself quite good, because you're not going to be... Yeah. If we go off Div 2, where there was 4 safety cars and a virtual safety car, then yeah, you're doing good if you can just keep yourself out of trouble. So Coyd needs to get a lap on the board, well, a better lap on the board. He's currently 3/10 off Pablos there, down into turn 1. Coyd looking, but there is the Red Bull just up ahead. That is scenario 7, I want to say. Who's on an outlap? Yep, that is scenario 7. Coyd is... He's past him now, but I mean, it might have held him up slightly. It did look like he was kind of in a bad area, but yeah, Wilkinson down there in the elimination zone. Pablos needing to find time. Alfie Webster as well, trying to repeat what he did in Monza before he unfortunately got a puncture on the last lap, which cost him points, I want to say. I think it did cost him points in the end because of that puncture. And OS 10 did pick up the last points. OS 10 not racing today. Well, he needs, yeah. He was a driver last week, but yeah, there's a lot of competition for spaces. And Coyd into turn 16, as it looks like the Sauber of Alfie there might have had an issue down at first corner, because there's a yellow flag. He's retired, so it seems strange. But Coyd now on his way. Can he get out of the bottom 5? It's what he needs to do, but will he deliver it? Up to the line for Coyd. It's only 18th for the Alpine, and that is not good enough, as that will probably be his last lap. This is Senor Ghosts, but he's just winding up for another lap, I think. Pablos just on an outlap is behind, and then Dropux is on an outlap. And then we've got Dylan, who might be pushing on here. Dylan has lost a bit of time in the middle sector, but he's still pushing on his way. He gained about half a tenth in his personal best in the first sector, then lost a tenth and a half in the middle to the last sector, which is really just a corner and a straight. He's going to have to make up everything. As Dylan runs it up to the line, 212 miles per hour. And there he was. And he did improve by 30 milliseconds. So, well, not bad in the end. Rob Wilkinson just coming around, needs a lap here. Andre Tarantino, he needs a lap. And he is on an improved lap. and he has found about half a second on this lap. So Andre Tarantino, if he can just keep this together, is looking pretty good. Kure has retired from the session. I think he's in the pits anyway, so that doesn't matter. When you see retirements at Baku, you think someone's binned it, because, well, that is just what happens here. As Tarantino cuts the beam, it is 11th place. So that should be looking good to get through. F1 Scenario 7 not finding time. What about Bryn Evans, who is looking to get another lap on the board? I mean, he's not really in any trouble, but he's improving anyway. And then we will look back to see Senor Ghosts and Pablos and Toontans. They all need laps, but Evans just wants another lap on the board. And Evans across the line, it is 4th, an improved lap for Bryn Evans. Senor Ghost looking to lift himself out of trouble, followed by Pablos and Toontans and Dropux. This is the fight to get out of Q1 and into Q2. Senor Ghosts on his way, the very long run to the line, and Baku, and he lifts himself into 10th. Pablos next. Pablos across the line. It's 17th. He's out of qualifying as Toontans goes into 9th. And Dropux then goes into 3rd. That relegates Ruben Parker into the elimination zone. But Parker is pushing and is on his way. Rob Wilkinson really needs to get somewhere, but he's slowing down. Rob Wilkinson is out of qualifying in the first part. Wilkinson not going to progress, but can Ruben Parker progress? Parker looks to be on the pace to get out of Q1. He's only a few tenths down on Danny Svart in the first couple of sectors, so Parker is on his way, and I think this should be good enough. He's just got this very long straight, and Kure looks like he's going to be eliminated, along with his teammate and Alfie Webster and Jarvis Coyd and Rob Wilkinson, because Ruben Parker has made it through right at the death and is in 12th place there. Andre Tarantino survives. Rob Wilkinson eliminated in Q1. He's just aggressively drives into the pits there. And well, that was certainly a shock. Danny Svart tops the session from F1 Scenario 7. So there we go. So there is the Q1 results. We're getting into Q2 pretty soon. And yeah, Kure, Pablos, Alfie Webster, Jarvis Coyd, and Rob Wilkinson eliminated. Mercedes, who's in the fight for pole position back at Silverstone, but now 2 qualifyings in a row, he will not be making the top 10 or, yeah, even Q2. So welcome back to qualifying at Baku for round 10 of RFC Season 6. And looking to find out who's going to make the top 10 shootout. All the main people in the championship made it through. Well, the top 6 in the championship all through. Andrew Harris, Alex Mills, Bryn Evans, Danny Zwart, F1 Scenario 7. I think we might just need to refresh. And Dylan as well. So, Scenario 7. Everybody out in a rush to start Q2. A bit like in Div 2 as well. When I watched that back, there was a heap of people going out at the start of Q2. And well, it's exactly the same here, because just look at this with, I think, Ben leading this here. There's so many cars just going through 13 and 14, down into 15. But let's see what F1 Scenario 7's got, because he's the first one out there. And can he get back to Q3, as I'm sure he'll be looking to do in the Red Bull? So now this very long run down to turn 1. Steady your braking, as we'll start the lap pretty close to the end of the straight. Well, into turn 1 a bit deep. A bit there, bounces over the curb. Into the second corner. Bit of rear locking there, I think. And down to turn number 3. Ooh, has to turn out over there a bit, I think. He's going to hit the barrier. Does well to avoid it. Again, it's a bit deep, it's a bit squirrely. Can't see what his tyre wear is because he's not got the telemetry on, so I don't know if these are used tyres or not, but certainly look that way with the way it's going. And I think he's backed off. He has indeed backed off from the lap, so we'll look back to Ben here, who is, I think, on a lap down to the castle, turn 8. Just coming up. I think he is a bit slower than he was in Q1 based on that sector time. But you'll see again, Dylan has just put the quickest first sector of all of the laps I can see. 35.2. And here we go with Ben. And yeah, let's just ignore that for a second before someone does a lap, I think. And Ben now on his way to get to the line. Scenario 7 does say the quickest time, but it's nowhere near the kind of pace. And Ben now to get it to top spot, 39.6. And I think the Q2 glitch has come back once again for the second race in a row, I want to say. Third race in a row. Something's up with Q2, I think. But I know how to fix it. That's probably why the sectors are not coming up right. Let's just have a little watch of, I don't know, something. Somebody's just joined the session. Lovely. Okay, I think we're back going again. Maybe I just restart it between Q1 and Q2 all the time, because then this issue will not happen. Bryn Evans crashed. He's out. Oh my goodness, he has. He has crashed because he's got the same thing as Rob. Last time when you're down there, even though you've got a lap time better. And Bryn Evans will not be making Q3. And well, he was already doubting things the last time in Monza. I'm sure that's not going to help. But we'll see what he can do in the race. Let's try and keep out of chaos from the midfield. Not going to be easy. Dropbox crosses the line, and he is not out of the bottom 5. Well, technically he is, but he's not. I don't know why Evans gets put down to 10th, because it's not like, I mean, because he's going to make it through, but then he won't be able to compete in Q3. It's a bit strange how that happens here like that. It's a bit annoying, but there's not a lot I can do. Harris has set the quickest first sector. Down to the downhill left-hander. Over the curve on the left-hand side. And now we'll swing through turn 16, and now 17, 18, 19 and 20 all flat out to complete a better lap. Potentially he's lost time in the middle sector and he's slightly down on his previous best, but he's probably, if he's pushing it right to the line, he will improve, because otherwise why would he stick it and not pit? And there we go, he does go to the top of the times with a purple sector 3. He has a purple sector 1 as well. And then Svat, I think. Oh, that sounded bad. But I think he's survived. He has survived. Down into 5, 6. And then 7. Fat. He does need to get something on the board, as well as his teammates. Teammate on an out lap at the moment, and he might get a bit of a slipstream from Svat when he finishes his lap, because you can see on the mini map when it kind of goes to where you can see it. There we go, you can see the Red Bull behind on his out lap. Oh, rear locking from Svat into turn 15, manages to keep it out of the barriers, and he's up on Rio Harris. No purple sectors, but he's keeping it clean, keeping it smooth, and he's got the ERS now to run it up to the line and also supply. Not actually going to give a bit of a tow. They might give a tow on the next straight, or maybe when he finishes, when Seb finishes his lap, maybe. Svat into second place. He is losing time in the last sector to Rio Harris. Alex, meanwhile, second in the championship, looking to hunt down Rio Harris after his victory at Monza last time out, with Harris not able to finish on the podium. He did close that gap down, and will now be looking to once again close the gap down, because Rio Harris extends the gap this round. You'd have to think that, you know, you're going to be running out of time at some point, because, you know, if it's already 37 points, and, well, 37 points, and there's only 4 rounds to go after this, so, I mean, obviously everything can change with a sprint as well in Brazil, but that is to come in the future. In the present, Alex Mills lighting the timing screens purple, and just about beats Rio Harris by 100th of a second there. And now I think Ben now maybe getting a bit of a tow, kind of, or maybe he's going to give Steverex a tow here actually, because Steverex is just behind, and scenario 7 is on his way to the line. Ben into third there. Great lap from the Racing Bulls as Danny Zwart then goes quickest And now we will see the Red Bull of Scenario 7, who needs to get a lap on the board here. Scenario 7, it is into 6th place for Scenario 7, so safe for the moment. And, well, I think Evans might actually shake out into his correct position. I think he has shaken out into his correct position eventually. Tarantino here did pick up damage on his last lap, but I don't entirely know what happened. This is Steverex now, making his way through the middle sector, down into turn 7, trying to apply the power through the castle now, to be right close to the barrier, slightly wide. The apex of the right-hander runs slightly wide on the exit there, and that is an invalidation for Steverex. I think the exit of turn 12, I want to say. There's a lot of corners in not a lot of space there. But Miguel currently looking to improve, looking to solidify a place in the top 10 shootout. And well, with Evans not able to set a lap now, then it's looking better for... That was another hit of the barrier there, but it's okay. It's looking like someone could get a surprise Q3 here. I mean, it seems like, as well with Wilkinson as well, not there. Yeah, Ben looks like he's sneaking through. Well, not sneaking through, but, you know, he's right there with the top teams, and that place might usually be taken by someone in a quicker car, but Ben obviously overperforming what the Racing Bulls can do. Miguel does improve by about 1/10.5, but he's still in the same position. And yeah, Everex. There, he does need another lap, but I think it's too late now. So Steverex will be falling in this part of qualifying, as now this is Senor Ghosts, who is, I think, trying to make sure he's safe. And I think he does kind of need this, because there are still a few that are going to be setting laps behind who can potentially knock the Aston Martin out of qualifying. So Ghosts, he's up on Danny Zwart's time, and that looked a little bit wide in there as well, but keeps hold of it. Now on the power towards the castle, here we go. That's 8, 9, 10, turn 11. Yep, this is 12. I think Steverex has done something there. He's retired, but did try and go out on track again and then might have crashed. Ben here is going up to the line. He has got a purple middle sector, but we'll keep watching Ghosts, because Ghost is trying to get his Aston Martin up into Q3. Aston Martin, of course, not one of the quickest teams. It might kind of gain a bit of performance, I guess, compared to when they do the performance update. Depends where they take it from, but Ghosts looking to use the Aston Martin as he currently has it, and he goes ahead of Miguel and gets himself into Q3, I think. And now we will see, this is Parker. Parker needs a lap. There we go. He is into the top 10. Knocks Bryn Evans out. He wouldn't be able to participate anyway, would Evans, even if he did make it through. And Dylan now seems to be on an improved lap as well. I don't think he needs it, because Dropux is going to be the only one. It's Dropux against Parker for the top 10 shootout. Bryn Evans obviously hitting the barrier earlier, not able to set any more lap times. He is in 11th. Dropux is stopped there. He's facing backwards, and I think Dropux is going to get himself disqualified if he's not careful, because, yeah, Dropux will be out of qualifying. David Svat looking to get is Red Bull up a few more places before the end of this. And Svat just bills it out to the pits. So that is it for Q2. And well, Ben, right there. But Bryn Evans, out of qualifying. Yeah. Evans third in the championship. And will not be competing in Q3. Look at the margins. Pretty close. Out there. And well, see what they've got for us in the top 10 shootout. So that is it for Q2. And we see Bryn Evans, Andre Tarantino, Dropuk, Stevrex, and Toontans eliminated. Welcome back to qualifying. It's Q3 time. We'll look to appoint the pole sitter, or the pole sitter will look to appoint themselves to pole position. And we have the Racing Bulls of Ben and Mercedes, the sole Mercedes remaining in qualifying. Dylan, the two Ferraris, the sole McLaren of Alex Mills, both Aston Martins of Ghosts, and Miguel, and both Red Bulls of David Svat and F1 Scenario 7. But, well, ready to go. And already everybody's made their way out onto track. And, well, this is looking like we could be on for quite a close shootout here. Seeing some used tyres on those, I can see telemetry. Dylan, Real Harris sounded into the wall there for Ruben Parker a bit. And as well, Parker actually on the used tyres. You can actually just flash them up now. You can see the rear tyre wear. What has gone on to Svart? I think he's just given himself a bit of a gap. I think everyone here is just giving themselves a bit of a gap. So let's actually go and watch the first lap here from Ruben Parker, because he's the first one out there. We'll carry on the Eagle tradition of watching the first lap. And I'll keep an eye on the sectors of the other ones while we watch this. Again, into the barrier there a bit. And anyway, Rear Harris just going through the first couple of corners now. But Parker down into turn 3. Gets the car in. Slight glance at the barriers again. And then it's 4. Close to the barriers, not quite into them this time. And that's a bit crossed up into turn 6. Has to try and recoup it for turn 7. But he doesn't get the best exit. Turn 6, I mean, and that is turn 7. And again, it's a glance of the barriers. You have to be right up against them at Baku if you want to get the ultimate lap time. Stays out of it there at 11 and then 12. Keeps it within track limits. F1 Scenario 7's done a 35.0. Rear House 35.3. Parker 35.4. Ben 35.1. And again, Parker hits the barriers. He's okay. He might be picking up a bit of tyre wear, but not too bad now. He's only got the run to the line to do. And Parker now is a few tenths up on F1 Snow 7. Rio Harris, though, 39.8. David Svat, 39.7 in the middle sector. As Parker gets to the line, and he does set a 140.1 as F1 Snow 7 with a 39.7 then. Beats Parker's time by 4 tenths. Rio Harris, the championship leader, top by 7 tenths, but Ben beats that, and then David Svat beats that. And now we see Miguel up to line, and then Danny Svart then goes quickest in the first runs of Q3. This is Dylan now. Dylan into the third row. Alex Mills. How will Mills do? Up to the line. Mills is on to the third row alongside Dylan at the moment. This is going to be Ghosts on his own a little bit compared to some of the other drivers, and Ghosts to cut the beam, and he replaces Mills on the third row as it stands. But there we are. Danny Svart up there to start the session, and he has looked pretty speedy around this Baku circuit, the Ferrari, hooking up. And what can some of the drivers do behind who set their laps on used tyres? Because that is obviously still a question to be answered. But anyway, drivers will need to be quickly back into the pit lane and then back out there again for their last runs, because that's why they're kind of getting out the pits so early now, because obviously, yeah, they need to have the space. So, Danny looking to see if he can top all 3 parts of qualifying. And he's put himself in the best possible position to do that at the moment. What can Snowson do? What can Alex Mills do? He seemed to hit the barrier there a little bit. Hasn't got the right telemetry on. But he does have wing damage. And he has a puncture as well. Puncture on the car. Let's have a little... see if I can... Stuff is... it's just... yeah, some stuff might kill my PC for some reason. That replay is not happy. Oh well. Then that part is happy, so... let's do a little test. Can't seem to... and maybe... oh no, wait, I know what I've done actually. I think the replay is happy. It's just I've slowed down the speed of the replay by mistake. Normal speed. I think everything's fine. And now if we do this, yeah, everything works, I think. It's all fine. Anyway, Ben is out there. He's going to be the first one to set his final lap of qualifying. And, well, the Racing Bulls, not that far from pole position, so if he just has a bit of an improved lap, as you'd think you would with the track evolution towards the end of qualifying and some nice tyres, you could very much be there or he could be there for the others to beat. Let's see what he can do. He's going to have a nice, clear run. I mean, some drivers might just be peeling out of the pits, actually. And I think Miguel is just going down the pit lane now. And then there's also Alex Mills. But anyway, let's see what Ben can do. In this lap, Harris with a nice bit of clear space as well. And Ben on his way. He's past Alex Mills, who came out of the pits. And Ben now on his way down to the third corner. And here we go. Stays from the walls. And Miguel gets out of the way, and Ben down to turn 5, and he is up on Danny Zwart. So this is looking good for the Racing Bulls to get in the ballpark of pole position. Ben looking to back up what was an excellent performance in Monza, with an even more excellent performance by qualifying near the front of the field here in Baku. I mean, even getting to Q3 in the Racing Bulls is a great achievement, but it looks like he's trying to do better than that. And now this is the tricky braking zone of turn 15. We'll watch on the camera on the exit. He stays away from the barrier. And Ben now is 3/10 up on Danny Zwart. Ben looking to spoil the Ferrari's party, but Danny Zwart will still be able to respond. Rio Harris has gone 7 milliseconds quicker than Ben in the first sector. Could Rio Harris be in the fight for pole position? You think he would be as the championship leader, but Ben does beat Danny Zwart to provisional pole. So if Danny Zwart, well, now Danny Zwart needs to respond. What can Rio Harris do in response? Down into turn 15. And now we will see what his sectors do compare to Ben. And he is slightly up. How is the exit? Maybe slightly slower to get on the power than we might have seen from others in qualifying so far, but will it be good enough for Rio Harris? He's got the ERS to deploy, and Harris now with about 8 seconds or so to go to get to the line. He's going to pick up a bit of a distant tow here from Senor Ghosts. Will this help the Scuderia Ferrari up to the line? It is provisional pole for Rio Harris. The championship leader is there to take provisional pole. Alex Mills looking to respond with a purple first sector. The purple first sector has now been taken by Ruben Parker in the Williams. Dylan with a 35.0, Danny Zwart with a 35.0, Mills 34.9, Parker 1 millisecond quicker in the first sector in the Williams. We have Miguel just up the road from Mills. Miguel slightly improving on his lap. Senor Ghosts with the purple first sector. Miguel with the purple middle. Now it's Alex Mills who's 4/10 up on Rio Harris, and the McLaren showing pace in the middle sector. But how's the straight line speed? Is it a match for the Ferrari? How are the trim levels of the car? Alex Mills now looking to get to provisional pole. He had pole in Monza. Can he take back-to-back? Here, up to the line. It's not good enough to beat even Miguel there as Dylan goes on to provisional pole. It's going to be Parker. Parker is still in his same position. Can Danny Zvart take it away? Yes, he can by 0.3 of a second. Danny Zvart is on his way. Unless someone can deny him. Senor Ghosts is on a decent lap. But how are his sector times comparing? He's only marginally up, I think, on his previous best lap, despite the purple first sector, as Ghosts crosses the line and he is still in 8th position. What about Scenario 7? What about David Svat? It's Scenario 7 to the front row for Red Bull. What about Svat? Svat has invalidated, and that is it for qualifying. It's Danny Zvart on pole position. And the Ferrari has done it here in Baku. A circuit where Ferrari in real life have always gone well at. And here in the game, they've gone well today, in qualifying at least. Scenario 7 on the front row, alongside Danny Zvart. Harris took provisional pole. Miguel went into second as Mills crossed the line and went behind him. Then Dylan came to get provisional pole. And Danny then topping all sessions in qualifying today. There we are, Danny Zvart on pole position. And he takes a first pole of the season. A first RFC pole, I think. Don't think he had a pole last season. But I never like to say first pole, first win, first whatever, because we don't have the lifetime stats, really, of things. Things are only tracked from about season 3 when I was here. Before that, I don't know, it's just gone. Yeah. Here we go then. It's time for the formation lap. And well, mediums and hards, mainly medium tyres for most of the grid. First hard tyre runner is Svat there in 8th place. And Ghosts as well. And then go back to 15th with Tans and Curry. And then Alfie Webster and Rob Wilkinson on the hard comp and everyone else on the mediums. And well then, what has Danny Zvart got to offer for us in this race? It was a dominant pole position in the end. Looked like the fight was going down to the wire, but then Danny just came and seemed to have pace over everyone. in the Ferrari. But yeah, let's see what scenario 7 can do. Crucially for Rio Harris, he's ahead of Alex Mills. He's also ahead of Bryn Evans, who had that crash. From what I was reading on Discord, it seemed like he might have hit some kind of invisible wall, but yeah, that must have been strange if that was the case. But anyway, he's down in 11th, but with the kind of chaos at Baku, it took about until... I think we had 4 safety cars before we had a lap of racing. Or maybe it was 3 safety cars, and then on the 3rd safety car restart, we had a lap of racing, and then we had another safety car, maybe. Anyway, it seems like Pablos has been reset. Wilkinson's back here. I don't know what... Yeah, he just seems to be kind of biding his time in AI mode or something, but anyway, Zwart is totally on his way, and whoa, there's this car's overtaking on the formation lap. What is going on? Dylan's up here, Harris then ahead of, well, scenario 7's all the way back here behind a load of cars. They're all swapping around on the formation lap, but Zwart is pulling into his grid spot. And, well, he wants to get right into this, but we're going to have to be waiting a while because look at where Wilkinson is. Is he even in the session? I don't know, but, I mean, I think if he wasn't in the session, he could just join me from Steam, so I think he is going to be, you know, about in this race, you'd think, but not entirely sure. Anyway, we're waiting for Wilkinson. Hoyd disconnecting. I think he did that a bit in Monza as well, but now... we will get, when Rob Wilkinson pulls into his grid spot, we will get ready for the race start here in Baku. A short run down to the first corner, but often chaos. 90-degree turns immediately presented to you, and the Azerbaijan Grand Prix moments away. It's lights out and away we go, and it looks like the Red Bull is already pulling into the lead. Scenario 7 takes the lead ahead of Danny Zwart, but then Danny Zwart with the cutback. Can Danny Zwart take back the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix? It's ghosted there. It's the Racing Bulls of Ben, is it, who's ghosting with a load of cars through the first couple of corners. There's also the Racing Bulls of Steverex in this race as well, but now down to the 3rd corner, side by side here, as Dylan tries to overtake Scenario 7. Scenario 7 still in 2nd place. Harris goes through in 4th, then side by side with Ben. That's Ben and Miguel, wheel to wheel. Seems like Senor Ghosts he's still going okay. The sister Aston Martin, I thought he might have dropped back a bit. That was just a mistake on my end, as Alex Mills on the inside, as Bryn Evans tries to sneak through as well, maybe going wheel to wheel towards the castle. Bryn Evans moves ahead on the opening lap, but we look like we are set to have a lap of actual racing here at Baku. No safety car so far. I'm probably jinxing it by saying that, but Danny Zwart did take back the lead. He did lose the lead temporarily and then got it back. Whoa! There's a huge spin there. It's Steverex, who must have rear locked there. Down. Oh, he's collided with Kure as well. Just on screen, as I'm saying that nobody's had an instant yet. We see Steverex sliding into turn 15. And now we will start the 2nd lap of the race. It's close here with Alex Mills getting past Miguel on the main straight. And Mills is ahead. Further behind, that's Svart, who might have lost out a bit on the opening lap. He certainly dropped down a few places already in the race. And that looks like the Williams down the inside there. Wheel to wheel, Parker trying to make a place on Svart. And Svart now, who started in 8th after invalidating his last run in qualifying. I think Evans is getting through on Miguel. Oh, in the background, something happened. And the Racing Bulls there having contact as well. Something definitely seemed to happen in the background. We have some damage reports to show some damage. And David Svart has also picked up damage, and now he almost had to look down the inside to try and make a move. Couldn't quite on that occasion. So we're on lap 2 of the Grand Prix, and we've already had About 4 wings break, I think, from what I can see. And well, that is, yeah, that is exactly what we were expecting at Baku. I mean, maybe we were expecting a safety car, but that wasn't forthcoming at the moment. There's not been a DNF yet, and Rob Wilkinson still controlled by AI. So is Rob just given up on this or something? He must have done. Anyway, it looks like Danny has broken DRS here potentially. Has he? The DRS detection point is kind of on that straight. So I think he might have actually got the Red Bull away. Indeed he has. Rio Harris looks close to Dylan, and in the background we see Ben getting past Miguel and going into 7th place. Ben, who is potentially in with a shout of pole position, in the end qualifying 7th for the Racing Bulls, but it was still a good position to start from. And we're on lap 3 of 26. Danny Zwart thought he might have broken DRS, but now Scenario 7 has reeled him back in. And now we're in the middle part of the lap. We can kind of, you'd think, have a bit of a chance to cool down, but knowing what happened yesterday, someone's just going to throw it into the castle, into the wall at the castle chicane. But let's just see if things do calm down. And I think they might have done, you know. Let's try and take a little bit of a breather and let's see the race start again here. And that was, yeah, that is where Danny then did take the lead back going into the second corner. But anyway, yeah, that's what happened there. Now on lap 3. And yeah, Svat trying to, oh, that dropper's bouncing over the curb there. That could have been risky. He's okay though, I think. Only 4 broken wings so far. We're doing better than Div 2, but well, it still means there's still the opportunity of about 4 safety cars yet to come if there are crashes. We went through the safety cars pretty early on in the race yesterday, which meant we kind of had a clean second half of the race. Ghosts we're riding on board with, and further behind Strat getting past Dropux, and there we can see the broken end plate, and there we see him going wide into the first corner, and that might allow Dropux the opportunity, but he's not quite got the grip down there onto the racetrack to get the move. Everyone kind of staying in formation towards the top 7. Top 6 are in the DRS train. Ben kind of being dropped out slightly, but yeah, now we will go down towards the castle again, and we'll see if anyone wins it this time. Game of attrition, and everybody seems to be well behaved for the time being. Let's just have a little look at this. Once again, Svat just running it in a bit deep. And yeah, the second Merc is AI. You can see he's just ghosted going around. And well, if he did want to join, he could just join me from Steam directly, so I don't even need to send him an invite. Anyway, let's see what the kind of pace is out front. Svart, a few tenths quicker than Scenario 7 on the last lap. Scenario 7 doesn't have his telemetry enabled, so we can't actually view the ERS of the Red Bull, but we can if we just go on board, where we see he's got about 8% remaining. And down the main straight once again. And Scenario 7, well, he's lost a bit of time there in turn 1. Mills now potentially wanting to have a go at his championship rival. 37 points back is Alex Mills on Rio Harris going into this race. Rio Harris, he finishes in front. It's really all he needs to do. Just maintain or even improve his championship lead. Alex Mills won't want that to happen. He will want to slowly chip in. Well, kind of take chunks out of that championship lead. You don't want to let it going into the last few races when the gap is still so big. But, yep, Let's just have a little look once again here. This is Parker. Oh, and he just hit the barrier again there. You could see he was a bit unsteady going into that corner. And it seems like Danny kind of pulls it away, and then Scenario 7 just burns a bit of his ERS, pushes a bit, but he's almost over pushing it. And we can't even view his damage, but he does kind of take a bit of risk and then gets back in, but Danny seems to have this under control for the time being over F1 Scenario 7. And the gap almost 9/10. The DRS detection point is about there, so did he get DRS there? It might have been close. He didn't get DRS, so Dylan might be looking for a move into second place here. Dylan in the Mercedes, down the inside, and Dylan does go through into second place as Mills just moves out to the inside, doesn't quite go for a move. Will Scenario 7 try and fight back at Dylan? They don't want to lose touch with the race leader, Danny Zwart, but they might be, you know, if this carries on. Danny with a 1.3 second lead. Baku seems to be a circuit he is really a master of so far. I mean, we don't want to jinx him, but pole position, leading all 3 sessions in qualifying, and now in the race as well, as Kure gets past Alfie Webster and potentially Steverex trying to get by as well around the outside here into turn 4, and he's done it there. He's done it, Steverex. Steverex moving up another position, but he did start a little bit higher anyway in the first place. He started all the way up in 14th, and now, yeah, let's just have another little look. This was the move there for Kure, and then Steverex just appearing and taking the place. I think David Svat might have just picked up a time penalty. We have a few more time penalties as well further back, and yeah, we already have some warnings going on. We didn't really see many time penalties in Division 2, RFC 2 yesterday. Of course, if you missed it, we did see a penalty. Yeah, we did see a few 3 seconds, but it's mainly 1-2 exotic at the end of the race. There's a yellow that gets cleared, and I don't quite know what that was for. But anyway, there's some gaps now forming. 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. There's a bit of a gap. Kure now trying to challenge Parker, and Scenario 7 might be under pressure here from Dylan, who's trying to close in. Andre Tarantino is out of the race, and I don't quite know what's gone on there. I tried to swap to see if we could see what had happened, but I don't know if he's retired. Where has he retired? Because, yeah, there's no safety car. Anyway, that's all we know. There is no safety car. Let me just, before things go mad, yeah, safety car standard, red flag standard, everything's all fine, and Dylan still looking to challenge Scenario 7 back into second place, and yeah, there's potentially an accident, but we didn't quite see. And Evans pretty close to Mills as well, but look at this train that's forming. Danny Zwart breaking away now and getting away from that pack, and that must be a lovely feeling when you can see all those cars behind scrapping it out, and you're just having a nice Friday night drive here in Baku. And now this is going to be where the slipstream comes into play, because Harris is close to Dylan, but then that means Dylan is going to have to get a move on and try and get past Scenario 7, because Harris is going to be overtaking him otherwise. And there we go, Dylan to the inside. Scenario 7 doesn't want to give up the place too easily, doesn't want to allow Harris to easily take that place, but Harris is now on the inside, trying to go wheel to wheel with Scenario 7. Alex Mills trying to get involved as well, as Rio Harris burning. Bryn Evans close as well, and Alex Mills does And the two McLarens side by side actually into turn 3. And now Rio Harris potentially challenged up the inside, slight contact with scenario 7. The two McLarens though still scrapping it out. And Bryn Evans in front. But will Alex try and keep it alongside into turn 6? He will. Someone's going to have to back out of this eventually. Evans on the outside does concede it eventually. Down towards the castle. Because you do not want to be wheel-to-wheel into here. Oh, wing damage for someone. Wing damage. Who is the wing damage for? Is it... It is scenario 7 who hit the wing, who hit the wall at the castle chicane there. Dylan has now broken away. And scenario 7, I think... Yeah, scenario 7 missing the end plate there for sure. And he's run wide. And Rio Harris is going to get the place easily here. Well, he should do. Because scenario 7's going to not have the grip to turn into the corners as well. But he's certainly going to have good straight line speed. A bit less drag. And now, here we go. Harris, scenario 7, I think, is pulling in for a pit stop. What about Alex Mills? Ben has got past Bryn Evans. Alex Mills still behind as Evans and Ben are inside and ghosting there. And Ben is surging up the inside. And Ben has made contact into turn number 2. And has he made contact with Bryn Evans potentially? Evans slightly dropping back. David Strat is up here as well as Ghosts is side by side into this next corner. And it's... Oh, Evans drifting as well. And, yeah. I don't actually know if I saved that replay. I don't know if the replay I'm going to play is going to be what you want to see, but we'll have a look in a minute. Of course we'll have a look. Let's have a real quick look now. It's probably not going to be... No, this is... That's just where that wing fell off before. Because if I don't press it in time, there's no point. Because it only says about the last 15 seconds. But that's just seemed like chaos everywhere. I didn't even know what to save. But there we go. The race explodes. And Evans with wing damage as well. Svat moving up places. Both Williams now out. Double DNF for them. Be really good if there was some more telemetry for a few of these front drivers. Well, Alex I'm mainly talking about because we can't actually see what's going on with him. But, well, he has got the an intact front wing from what I can see. Harris has kind of broken away because of all this. That contact that happened right behind, and Harris now pulling the pin and going for a stop as his teammate carries on. Mills also in the pit lane. And, well, we'll see what they do. They must be able to make it to the end from there if they can do that amount of time on the medium tyres already. And, well, we'll see where Harris feeds back out. Here we go. Harris. That's going to be Pablos. Kura is in the background. And Harris slots in between the two Haas cars. And now is looking to get back going in this race on the hard compounded tyre. And we will now see what can Mills close back in towards Harris, because Kure into the wall there, and Mills is going to go around the outside surely. It should be simple with the grip difference, and indeed it is simple there for Alex Mills. And in the background, it looks like Scenario 7 getting past Alfie Webster, and Miguel as well doing the same thing. And Strat trying to challenge. There is a yellow potentially in the castle. It's Harris. Harris, what has happened to Rio Harris? Harris with wing damage. And just as we're watching the battle for third, Rio Harris picks up wing damage. And what on earth happened there? Did he make a mistake? Did he have contact with another car? But, yeah, we will see what's happening to Rio Harris. Because he is going to have to, yeah, go all the way with that damage. So Danny Svart now in the pit lane. Yeah, I am probably blind. No, I was actually getting ready to turn that thing on, and then that happened. So I don't know what happened. Someone tell me what happened, please. McLaren spun. So as Alex Mills spun, and then a load of cars have hit him. Tell me what's happened. You can watch it back. And yeah, Evans now back out. He's not fixed his damage. He's just gonna... Oh, he hits the barrier again there, I think. But look, he's just going around with no end plates. He's got the straight line speed, I guess. And well, Harris looking to get a place back here. And he does. Ahead of Kure once again, having to overtake the Haas for the second time. And Dropbox now, oof, that looked close between the pair of them. And Dropbox getting a bit frustrated now. Kure with damage as well on his car, I think. And Dropbox with new tyres will get that place. And whoa, he hits the wall again, the Haas. And again. Magnetic to the walls. So McLaren hit scenario 7 at the left 90-degree turn after the caster section. So turn 12, McLaren hit scenario 7. Where did that happen that I could see? Was it just as I switched to that battle there? Was it in the background when I was watching the other Red Bull? Anyway, we're on straight again. Evans looks like he might be calling it. Yeah, speeding into the pits. And Miguel here, just watching. So Ghosts is leading the race. And well, he's on the hard compound tyres that he started on still. And well, if there's a safety car now, which Baku can spawn up, yeah, it's certainly not too bad for him. Tan's there as well. Danny Svart going to have to overtake the Kick Sauber. And scenario 7 here, pulling over to the side of the track. And he's lost a few places there. So, is scenario 7 giving up? Or, I'm not entirely sure, because even if you would have had an incident there, you wouldn't have slowed down that much. And here we go. This is just going to be a simple move for Danny. And there we go. And Svart getting past Dropbox. Svart looking to recover. And Harris as well looking to recover. And Miguel does concede that position to Rio Harris. And scenario 7's in the pits. Will he retire from the race as well, or will he carry on? He's going to carry on, I think. New wing also going on. And the medium tyres. Going to manage them to make it to the end, but I'm sure he can do that. And now Dylan is going to get a bit frustrated behind the Sauber. That might allow Danny to get by, but actually Tan's slightly opening the door there, or basically just fully opening the door. And it's the place for Dylan. And then we have Svart here looking, see if he can overtake Miguel, but if anything happens in this part of the track, someone's probably made a mistake. And another hit into the wall. Oh, it hands there. Potentially a slight brush with Mills, or maybe just a brush of the wall himself. Probably more likely to be the wall. But, yeah. Mills now ahead of Rio Harris, of course, because of or whatever happened that I switched away from too quickly. And, well, we'll see what the race has to offer. No safety cars yet. Will we get a safety car at Baku, or will we somehow survive the race without a safety car? I mean, there's still a long way to go, to be fair. And Svat is now ahead of Miguel, and he'll be looking to get past Harris as well. Svat, I think he has fixed his damage now. Indeed, he has fixed the damage which he had earlier in the race, so that's going to be, he's going to be quicker than the Ferrari. And I mean, he would be quicker anyway in terms of the Red Bull being quicker than the Ferrari, but just in general in the game. But he should have an advantage with that damage that Rio picked up at some point. If only there was more than one commentator in this session, so I didn't have to do everything. But anyway, I try my best. And well then, Harris is going to be quickly closing up to Tans, who's trying that hard tyre start. Just have a little refresher. Of the tyres for everyone. That's the tyre age in laps. And Svat is within DRS of Harris, as you'd expect. Harris slightly opening the gap up, but someone seems to throw a load of glass outside my house. I don't know if that was picked up, but that sounded loud to me. But anyway, here on the track, Svat looking to break through against Harris. Harris moves to the inside. Svat's going to have to go around the long way. Harris keeps his nose in there. They leave each other space through turn 1, down to turn 2. Harris still on the inside. Svat's going to have to go the long way around again. I think he will get supreme traction now compared to Harris. DRS as well. Still going wheel to wheel. I think Harris is just going to have to tuck in behind. And Harris does, as then Svat goes into the wall just after overtaking Rio Harris, and that gifts the place back to Rio Harris. And it might even open a door for Miguel to challenge here. Not quite on this occasion. But, yeah, David Svat just gaining the place on Rio Harris and then losing the place within a matter of seconds as he ran the car in deep into that corner. And yeah, turn 3, he was not able to get through as he would have wanted. And I don't think he actually gave himself damage again. No, he didn't. But his rear tyres do not look in good shape. But obviously Baku is a rear tyre killer, really. Let's see what Harris's are like. There we can see the damage. See a bit more evenly spread for Harris. Well, you know, compared to David there. I don't know if, obviously, if he's locking up the rear tyres. There we are. Svat has now taken back the lead as Senor Ghost is in the pit lane. Rio Harris ahead of Tans. What about Svat? What can he do? Round 2. He won't get an overtake into there. Rio Harris also had DRS. He won't get DRS on the next straight, though. And this time Svat could have the run. Will he get the breaking point this time? He's not quite as close as he was on the previous lap, and Harris has looked slippery down the straights. Harris just about leaves Svat the space on the outside and defends his position resolutely for the time being. And Svat still having to try and get past Harris as he runs into the back of the Ferrari. But well, from Monza we know that that will not be really checked out too much, but that is not ideal. Whoa, Svat getting all out of shape into the castle. And can he overtake Harris now? I don't think he can. Down to 15. Let's just have another quick little look at this. Once again, into this corner. And there you can see the contact. It wasn't really much, but it's still something that Harris won't have liked, I'm sure. And well, Dylan is still in play here, and actually the race leader has picked up front wing damage at some point. We don't know when, but he has picked up front wing damage pretty recently. And Dylan now will have a bit more confidence maybe. And Strat again there, potentially running into the back of Rio Harris, getting out of shape now, and potentially allowing Miguel to overtake. So Strat once again running into Rio Harris. And now this train is extending back quite far. And nobody's making a move into turn 3. There was that contact again, maybe. Strat seems like he's a bit all over the place. But Harris as well with the damage. Not able to maybe carry the speed that Strat might be expecting. And Dropbox there in the background, we can see him cutting across that corner, picking up a time penalty. I mean, you can kind of cut that quite a lot without getting a warning, but on that occasion it was too much. And it's 3 warnings. And Rob Wilkinson's AI goes into the pit lane, as here we go with Ben trying to go wheel to wheel, backs out of it sensibly enough down into turn 15. And that is Steverix and Scenario 7. Don't know if they might have swapped places. I caught something out of the glimpse of my eye, but anyway, Harris has opened the gap up a bit. And Harris, will he be under threat from Strat again? Strat with not really ERS to use, and Harris with a decent amount if you compare that to the amount the Red Bull has. Ghost getting ahead of Dropbox. Dropbox may try and fight this back. No, Dropbox is actually pitting, so ignore what I said. But anyway, Ghost is still looking for a move. He's diving up the inside of Ben, and he has got the move. So he might have not overtaken the Alpine pitting, and, well, getting another pit stop down in the race. And Harris ahead of Strat. Strat almost pulling alongside, but not quite. Again, this equation, Svart has kind of opened the gap up a little bit to Dylan on the last lap. About 3/10, he's got Dylan out of DRS for the time being, which is what he wants to do. Maybe just getting used to the damage. He knows the capabilities of his car. He's figured it out. And now this is the main battle, which we're really going to be seeing. And there is a yellow flag. It is the Haas of Kure. But he might have gone into the wall. He is missing the front wing, I think. No, he's missing the end plates and the planes on the left-hand side. But it's not what has happened to Scenario 7. He's also dropped back behind Steverex there, potentially making the mistake. Scenario 7. Yeah, again, losing out. 13th place. So Dropbox making his pit stop there. And is that a second pit stop? I think, yeah, that is a second pit stop of the race. So that is interesting. He feels like he can't make it to the end. But, well, I mean, the tyre wear I'm seeing, I mean, we'll have a little look at the tyre wear down towards here after we see, but Ben here overtaking Ghosts and Strat. Strat again with another mistake, I think. I think that's literally just I swapped away again. Strat making a mistake again down there, and he has hit the wall as well. So, Strat And yeah, that is his rear tyre, 56%. And that is Vart's out front. We'll compare it to Dylan. Dylan is there. We can't see Alex's. It just shows 0%. Harris, we can see. And now he's just got Ghosts to contend with. And there is another yellow flag. And I think it's the Red Bull again here. And he's picked up the puncture now. Down into 15, was before then that he did pick up a puncture. But, yep, he's crawling back to the pit lane. Steverex for the 3-second penalty. As Ghosts tries to challenge Harris. And there's another yellow flag, but I think that's just the slow-moving Red Bull again, most likely. This is going to be Pablos. Dropbox has got damage there. I think I saw the end plate missing. Pablos in 9th. Dropbox is going to try and fight it around the outside. And he's still trying to keep in play. Svat has retired in the pits. Dropbox with the cutback. Dropbox with the exit. Dropbox to 9th place. As Ghosts there. Still trying to challenge Harris. He might have hit the barrier slightly as well. He's got away with it though. And we've not really seen anyone with damage that would signify simulation just yet. Nobody has got floor damage or side pod damage. We've not seen any pile-ups particularly, apart from the one that I might have missed. I mean, I don't know what happened, so it must have been something. But yeah, I mean, maybe not a pile-up, but a few cars making contact. But mainly, it's when someone goes into someone T-bones someone. That is when you're going to see floor damage. But Ghosts looking to make the move for 4th on the medium tyres. Of course, he started on the hards. Doesn't quite have the straight line speed, even with DRS. And he goes around the outside and he runs a bit wide, doesn't quite get a great exit. And Harris now still on the inside into turn 2. But Ghost is now ahead, but Harris with DRS now. So Harris will pull back ahead of Senior Ghosts. And Ghosts thought he might have got that done, but he just didn't quite have the ERS on that occasion. He'll try again. We're on lap 21 of 26 in this race. And yeah, Rio Harris able to fight the place back down into turn number 3, as you can see there. Yeah, just able to pull back ahead with DRS. But now the battle will still go on. Harris, I mean, he is limiting the damage to Mills, considering what's happened. If he can get 4th, that he would have been hoping for more before whatever happened. And Ghosts, this is attempt number 2 in 2 laps. And this time he looks a lot closer down towards turn 1. He wants to pull alongside and ahead before the braking zone ideally. But then Harris will get DRS on the next straight, and you can see the top end speed is gaining, but it's not the biggest overspeed you've ever seen. And Harris does defend, but then Senor with the switchback, and now they're fighting to get DRS here. They're both slowing down. And who did pull the DRS? Is it Senor Ghosts or is it Rio Harris? It looks to be no one. No one got DRS there somehow. They were playing games, and well, Ghosts looked like he had the chance to go ahead, but then they both kind of slowed up to yeah, to see who would get to the line. And in the end, the game kind of does that thing that sometimes does of not giving DRS to anyone. I think the Racing Bulls was a bit out of shape there, potentially. He's okay, though. It was a bit slidey for Ben. We can't see his tyre wear, but... Whoa! Into the castles. Chicane there. He hits the barrier. I saw that one. I did not miss that one. And Ben with damage. Now, the Racing Bulls a bit wounded in this race. And Ghosts, it has been able to kind of pull away on this lap. Let's just have a quick little look at Ben really quickly. That was Ben who hit the barrier there in the castle. And well, Miguel now will be gaining. Harris still within DRS of Ghost. He'll be looking to fight back come the end of the race. Not quite sure. Coyd and Scenario 7 having a little bit of a battle here, maybe a bit of lag. They were kind of swapping over, but they're not really in the point, so it doesn't really matter at this point. This is what we want to see. We want to see what Harris will do against Ghosts and whether Ben's damage is going to harm him. Danny has maintained his gap pretty nicely the last few laps. In the last lap, he was about 100th of a second quicker. So he just... yeah, he was just... that is not the data that I'm being given on my other screen. There's a yellow. As I'm looking at my other screen again, it's the Haas, is it? Pablos? It's Pablos, I think, but he was already in the points. And he still is in the points. But yeah, the data on my screen was 144.024 and 144.034, but that's clearly not what is coming up here. But sure, we'll accept that the telemetry is somehow giving off two different lap times. And well, Harris still trying to hang on to DRS. And well, he might just be able to. Really pushing it there. Is that going to be DRS actually? From Kure to Senor Ghosts. I think there might be, you know. And this could be the thing which helps Senor Ghosts to escape. Because look, he's still behind. And the DRS detection point is about there, that line on the racetrack. And he is going to be getting DRS on Kure. Kure on the soft tyres. Fresh set of softs a few laps ago. So he's not going to be the easiest nut to crack in terms of overtaking a lapped car. But there we go, he does get out of the way. I mean, he is obliged to. I mean, he is obliged to be able to fight back as well. But, well, he's allowed to. And well, he's ghosted anyway. It's not like there's going to be a back marker taking someone out. It's just annoying the dirty air, but it did help with DRS for Senor Ghosts. And Harris is still just there, but the gap now actually just going over and under a second. And Dylan is not quite done with this yet. There's only 1.1 between the two race leaders, and Danny now maybe getting a bit harmed by dirty air given off by the Sauber. I think, is that the Sauber who is... yeah, that's Alfie Webster there, who is... I think he's left the session, so I don't think he's even here. But this is allowing Dylan to sneak into DRS here, and it won't be giving Danny's Vart DRS, so we're going to have a battle, I think, for the race victory, unless Danny can escape once again, because Dylan is going to get a bit of a double slipstream here, maybe. Down the pit straight. Harris has dropped out of DRS of Senor Ghosts, and Dylan now just dropping a bit out. Again, he doesn't really have ERS, but Dylan surely needs to get within a second so he can get double dose of DRS, but I don't think he is. He just doesn't have the speed down the straights, it seemed there. And Dylan has got DRS for this second straight. I think he might have actually got it from the Sauber in the end, or maybe it was Danny's Vart who did give him DRS, but even when he's got close, Danny's always been able to just eke out that little bit of extra time, and let's see what it will happen this time. They're both surely going to be conserving their ERS levels. because they are going to be going towards the final lap of the race pretty soon. And well, Danny is recharging. Dylan, medium mode at the moment. And they both tackle the castle on this occasion. Trixie's causing chaos now, is he? Yeah, I may have given Trixie mod. That's only because he was in the streams when... You've only been in the last few streams, Moon, so... I can show the warnings, but we're heading to the final lap of the race. And Dylan is still looking to see if he can catch up to Danny Zwart. They both have no ERS, really at all. And, well, they're heading down towards turn one. Danny just has inherent kind of pace, it seems, when they both don't have anything. Even with DRS, Dylan is unable to get close enough. But, well, they're still on their way down to turn number 3. We're on the final lap of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And Danny Zwart looks to be holding on. And Dylan just 6/10 behind. We're going to have a potential chase to the line. But Dylan needs to get closer because he just hasn't had the speed down the straights to catch the Ferrari. And Danny has controlled this race for the majority of it. Harris has dropped off from Senior Ghosts now, but Harris might just accept 5th in the end, considering what has happened earlier in the race. Miguel is out of the race at turn number 3 on the last lap. Miguel in the barriers. And the Aston Martin, that would have been a safety car had it not been the last few laps of the race. But meanwhile, out front, Danny Zwart with over a 7.5 lead, and that should be good enough as he's going to round turn number 16 for the Ferrari, who hasn't won yet in RFC. But now he has taken pole position and he is on his way to the checkered flag and the chance to see victory. Dylan tried all his might towards the end of that race, but Danny Zwart wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for Ferrari. Dylan comes home in 2nd place. Alex Mills reduces the championship lead of Rio Harris by finishing 3rd after an incident there which I missed earlier in the race. Ghosts spins across the line. He still crosses the line in 4th. If he didn't actually cross the line there, then that would have been not ideal, but yeah, he's still across the line. He's taken the checkered flag. Harris in 5th, Ben in 6th, doing a really good job for Racing Bulls. Toons hands here for Kick Sauber, a great performance. Dropux here across the line. It's 8th. He made a 2nd pit stop in the race. Pablos across the line for Haas takes 9th, and Steverex takes the last points in 10th ahead of Scenario 7. But it is Danny Zwart winning the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And Alfie did... He was just controlled by AI, but it just said he left the session. Was he actually driving or not? Because all I see is that it says AI next to his name, but we'll have to check the logs. Anyway, Danny there, winning the race. And what a great performance from the Ferrari. So there we go, confirmation of a pole 2 race win for Danny Zwart. Let's just go down the race director.